Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer. I'm exploring England, my quest on another day. We have a windy, wet day, a bit of sunshine coming out, and today I'm going for a walk from one Iron Age hill fort to another. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how far we get. So I'm going to walk up from Findon. I'm in Nepcot, the little village of Nepcot, and this is the green here with the downs behind me. I'm going to walk up to Cissbury Ring and then across to Chanctonbury Ring. That is the object of today's little exercise. That's my phone making a little tinkling noise in the background. So I'm going to walk up here on what is, according to this, the Monarch's Way. So let's get cracking. So the first part of my journey is going to take me up this road. Now I could have driven much further up, but I just fancy the walk today, so I'm going to walk up to as close to Cissbury as at the to the bottom of the hill that takes you up to Cissbury Hill, where the Iron Age hill fort and the Neolithic flint mines are, and then I'm going to head north. So I'm rather anticipating that it is going to rain. I hope it is, because I've got all my wet weather gear on. Right, let's get further up. It's a slight slope coming up here as you make your way up. You can probably already see the countryside behind me. There's the horse training for show jumping and what have you, horse racing stud here with its own race course behind me. I haven't brought my other camera, so I'm not doing cutaways just because it's so grim weather. But that way is the hill fort of Cissbury. I've still got a bit more to go, and then I should be turning left. Right, here we go. This is the end of the Monarch's Way that I'm going to be walking on, as you can see just there. It carries on straight down that way, which is east. The Monarch's Way, of course, is which Charles II had his escape from the Roundheads when they were after him, and Cromwell I can't remember now if they'd already dispatched Charles I. Charles II gets down to Shoreham and gets on a boat to escape, and is in exile until 1660. Here we see behind me Cissbury Ring. I'm walking now on the path to Chanctonbury Ring, which is wet and muddy. As you can see, great big puddles just ahead of me. But that's okay. I'm prepared for that, and the wind. So we're going to come through on this muddy lane. What was interesting, as I come through this gateway, try and find a bit that's not too muddy, is you can park, as I hinted at before, down at the foot of Cissbury Ring, and you can park there and do this walk. So about a couple of miles, I think, now to Chanctonbury, which I may not reach the complete end because of the weather. It's blowing my hat, but we'll get as close as we can for the purposes of this video. The wind is getting up a bit now, and it's raining. You can probably see that on the lens. I may have to continually wipe it a bit. I know this landscape very well. I've taken my children here on many occasions when they were small, and of course I've come up here just for a bit of solace, a little bit of walking to get out from the four walls on those days when, you know, sitting by the fire reading books and all the rest of it, it's just not enough. You need to get the blood circulating around the body. Rare to come out in adverse weather, although I'm not adverse to doing that, and I have done that many times. But it does make you think, or it makes me think anyway, about the farmers of ancient times, the travellers of more recent times, anybody really, any time, it doesn't matter, coming out in these wet, windy, bleak conditions on roads like this. You can see this road is relatively compact here, thanks to probably a mixture of horses and carts and vehicles, but it is quite hardy chalk and flint base. And up here on the South Downs would have been the best place for people to travel, certainly from east to west or from one side of the downs to the others, because once you get into the Weald, the clay and the mud there was pretty horrendous. Love this tree, look at that lovely tree, beautiful shape. I always think of trees as being an indicator, especially in the winter, of what our veins and capillaries must look like in the body. And in a way, they are just that, aren't they? They are the veins and the capillaries that take the sap around the tree, and then the light that is turned into life force into the trunk and puts another ring of health around the trunk of the tree. I think I might put my hat back on. I can hear, I don't suppose you'll be able to hear this, but there are ground nesting birds in there tweeting away. It's rather lovely to hear them in amongst the raindrops on the head. I'm well protected, and there is that sense, you know, when you go for a walk or you go camping or anything and you're in the elements. There's just something about being in the elements, protected, you know, you're dry on the inside but you're being battered on the out. I love that. I love that sensation. One of these days I will go wild camping, and you know what, I think the fun bit would be to go wild camping when it's pissing down with rain. I'm just coming off the main path here just to nip in to this tiny little piece of woodland, and you can see the trees here with their moss and lichen all over them. And the thing about this is, every time you go on a walk, you know, you come across these tiny little bits of woodland here with the brambles on the undergrowth in this particular occasion, and then the big trees. And I love this. I love to see this, because this is an indication here of what, if you leave the land alone and don't do anything, is what happens. Trees will grow, brambles will grow, the brambles will disperse, other trees will grow, saplings rather, and eventually it will become an impenetrable woodland again, a wild wood, and various types of animals, insects, beasts, birds, and all that sort of thing will start to come back. And it's an indication really of what this landscape must have looked like back in the day, back before man, or when man first arrived. All along here, I don't know if you can see this, it's not terribly clear, but it's there nonetheless. This is a wood bank, and you can see here's a bit of a ditch. It's probably, I don't know, 400 or 500 years old, could be much more ancient. This would have shown the boundary between one part of land and another. And from what I understand is, apart from losing my hat here, is the ditch side of it would have been the bit that goes into land, probably open land. The other side would have been woodland, but now all that woodland has been cleared, and as you can see, it's a field for arable. But back in the day, this may have been a boundary for a wood. Alternatively, of course, it may have been cleared at the same time. Who knows? I don't know if there would be any records of that ever happening. Morning. Hiya. There we are, look. Some more fools braving the weather. Marvellous to see. How much of that you can see, I don't know. But in the distance there, it'll look further to you than it does to me. My first glimpse of Chanctonbury Ring. I wish I'd brought a coffee, a chocolate biscuit and a sandwich, or an apple. I bought nothing on my walk today. I'm hoping that the porridge that I had this morning will sustain me. It's not too far now, so that's good. And also the weather has passed, the bad weather. Obviously there's still weather, there's a bit of wind still, but there is a hint of blue sky. Fantastic. That's what we love. Behind me, the Great Sussex Weald. Sunshine is fast approaching, which is fantastic, of course. And here, I've just dropped down out of the wind because it is blowing a hooey, or a hoolie, however you wish to say it. Here is Chanctonbury Ring, the destination that I have walked from, as we know, an Iron Age hill fort, possibly dwellings, possibly just a lookout post, possibly a place for cattle and sheep. Who can tell? But let's go around this side of it first of all. There's a path here, look, and a Roman temple was placed up on here in Roman times, and these beech trees, of course, are not the originals, planted by Charles Goring in the 18th century, replaced after 1987, after the great gale blew them down. And there we see more of the terrific view to the Sussex Weald, looking up past Horsham, 20 miles north, and then the North Downs. So lovely to have the sunshine. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I must touch one of the trees. This one here would be good. There we go. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe, become a patron. Help me do more of these walks and get further afield. Until the next time, give me a thumbs up and leave a comment. Bye bye for now. Oh yeah, I've got to walk back to the car.